Now that we got the posts up, let's talk structure. So we're going to have a 2x12 beam on the outside. You can see we made our marks there. We have about 7 feet of joist span at 16 inches on center. We're going to use 2x8s. We could use 2x6s. I'd rather use 2x8s. They're more solid, barely cost more. So beam sizing wise, we can do a single 2x12, fully notched into the post. So the span rating on that at 6 feet of joist span allows 8 feet 3 inches, and at 8 feet of span between the ledger and the beam, 7 feet 1 inches. Our longest span between is right at 6 feet, just slightly under. So we can interpolate that. We're easily allowed a 1x12. Well, I mean, we don't even have to interpolate that. We know we're within that range just fine. Not a problem. But you are allowed to interpolate between the 2-foot increments. You're not allowed to extrapolate out. We could have up to about 7.5 feet in between. So we're in good shape. And then we're going to piece this individually between the posts, and then we're going to run a full 2x12 all the way across for appearances outside and wrap the each individual side in as well. So be good and strong. I'll also note that when we get to the point that we need them, we will put some bracing off the end posts as well, diagonal bracing. So this thing won't be going anywhere with this many posts on in the scheme of things, not extremely large deck. So to make the notch where we need for the beam, I ran along with the circular saw and made the top and bottom cut the 1.5 inches, and then set it back to the 2.5 inches and plunged the blade in from each side. So do that 8 times on each cut, top, bottom, side, and side. And then Dave's following up with the reciprocating saw and slicing through the little bit that the blade can't get. And often there's a little bit of cleanup with the chisel, but that looks pretty clean down there. So that plunges through. And so you get 2.5 inches from each side, and it's a 5.5 inch board, so leaves give or take a 1/2 inch in there in the middle to get through. So not a whole lot, and you got 2 good sides to guide you. Looks good. Got the 2x12 band on. That was pretty simple. And we already had marked the rim for our 16 centers, so we didn't put our bolts in the middle of a joist. So we just transferred those across square side to side. So now that we have our 16 on center layout ready, we got our joists sitting on the concrete over there. We'll cut those to size, start putting those in, getting the hangers on. Before we know it, we'll have the first level framed. had these 2x8s stacked here before well, I guess in the middle of all the ice and snow and cold, and water of course got in between and froze, and it's been in the 60s, close to 70 degrees Fahrenheit today, and still hasn't completely melted off in the middle of the stack. So of course wood isn't the best insulator, but it is still an insulator. It's about R1 per inch, and in the middle of the stack that makes for a decent amount of insulation. So I don't think it'll take long to melt off at this point. Meanwhile, making some decent progress out there. I may have inch monstered this joist here. It doesn't seem to fit. You know, it's truly amazing how often you accidentally add an extra inch or take an inch off. This is supposed to be just under 87 inches, 86 and 15/16, and 87 and 15/16. So, oops. But this is the easier direction. It's a lot easier to trim than add on. I don't know what that is, but it sounds terrible.
I think it sounds really neat.
That power playing something?
What?
Power playing something?
Something. That's power complaint.
Oh, we can power complain.
Well, I can have trouble with the screw going in.
Yeah, we already knew that. We're out here at Lowe's, and the bundles are frozen here as well of lumber, even though it's been quite warm. Well, we're Getting the boards loaded up. My truck's got the 2x. Dave's getting the 5/4 boards, and some of these are just stuck together. You gotta break them apart. Not taking long to melt off out here, but Dave's got frozen hands. And it's like 60 degrees. Oh, here are those. Got a question for you guys. Does your local store put their rental stuff right in all of the closest parking spaces to the lumber exit? This makes no sense. Got the last 2x8 joist for the first floor going in here, so now we're going to cut the 2x12s we need for capping each end, and that should get us ready to go for the deck boards that we picked up earlier. In this case, the stone foundation right below sticks out quite a bit, but we wanted to get the 2x12 as much to match looks from the rim out here as it is, because we need to attach stairs right here, and 2x12s are easy to attach stringers to. So, simple solution. Just grab the jigsaw, make a little cut around what you got, and it's maybe a little bit further than I needed for what was sticking out in the back, but that's fine, close enough. So that is the last piece needed, except for a couple 2x4s scabbed on at each end to catch what will be the picture frame board at each end. Need just a little extra space to have a screwing surface to make everything nice and connected. North side foundation stone stick out is a little closer to what you would expect. So same thing, just a little notch around, all good to go. Our deck boards have now thawed, so we're gonna start cutting these to size. Need just a little 45 angle for the first part for the picture frame, and then figure out what that means for around the posts. And then we should be able to fly through it because they're all the same size, just 10 feet out from the center, or a little less than 10 feet out from the center in each direction. We don't even need a board up the middle, just they'll just butt together because they get covered with a rail in the middle. Despite your best efforts, you're probably going to have one or two crowns that are a little more than desirable. Perfectly level just doesn't quite as matter as much as people make it out. Get really close though, but if you are quite a bit off, power planer, nice and easy. That's what we had to do here. So you can see it's kind of smooth now, but it is pretty much in line. So now we can get our first two pieces on. And just to clarify, when I say perfectly level doesn't matter, it doesn't matter because this is all wood. It's a natural material. It's gonna move a little bit whether we like it or not. So get it really close, but don't drive yourself completely bonkers trying to get absolute perfection. I don't think it's picking up very well on camera. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. There is still ice in these boards, even after, again, being in the sun for another day. So if you ever need to build a nice cooler, like a whole bundle of 5/4 decking boards will take care of your insulation needs. Meanwhile, that's screwed in about halfway on this side. Nice thing here is these are all the same measurement. We can just cut them, set them up there, get the screws in, quick and easy. I'm not sure we've ever had deck boards go down quite this quick. I will take it though. Getting through this pretty quick on the other side. It's nice. So, as you've probably noticed, I'm doing the cutting while Dave is doing the securing, and I'm taking just the extra moment to square up both ends. Obviously one end gets cut, but the other factory cuts on these are not always the best, so it takes an extra, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds per board to cut both ends. Seems worth it in my opinion, at least. We can go in this back door now. Oh, nope. Screwed shut. Got the last little bit of the deck boards going in right there. We got our 2 rips. This one's already in place. And just needed a very, very minor touch up in the corner on this one. And this one popped right into place on the first cut. So that's always nice. So a few more screws. We could go bowling up here almost. Looks pretty good. Of course, we have to repeat this entire process right up here. But that is for Monday. It's Friday afternoon. It's bizarrely hot out here for the last day of February. We're used to like 10 degrees, not 75 degrees. But it is a nice blue sky up there. So that'll wrap things up for this video, I think. Next time, as I mentioned, we're going further vertical. We'll pick up some more posts. We'll get the next ledger on. I already got the joists sitting over there, and probably more than half the deck board sitting over here. So I think that as long as everything goes smoothly, probably shouldn't take too long to get that all together. So thanks for rebuilding with us as always. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. We had fun putting this together, and nice to be outside in nice weather again. So if you haven't already done so, we'd really appreciate a like and a subscription. Definitely helps things out. And thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys on the next video out here on the porch.
Glad you called it the right name.
It's not a deck, it's a porch.
Porch.
All right, there we go. Last piece finished. Don't jump.